Good morning, everybody. Welcome to beautiful Jacksonville Beach. Welcome to the Real Estate Walk and Talk. I hope you're getting ready to have an excellent week here. A good friend asked me a question. He said, should I buy my primary residence before I buy rental properties? And so I thought I'd share my answer with you. My answer may surprise you, so you'll want to listen up. But before we jump into that, wanted to let you know about a very special guest we have on the Not Your Average Investor show tomorrow at 12:30, Tuesday. We're interviewing Rachel Richards. Rachel is a best-selling author, and she is incredibly successful at a young age and built up over $10,000 a month in passive income, a lot of that through rental properties, and retired at the age of 27. And just an incredible person to connect with, so you'll want to join us. It's tomorrow at 12:30. The link's in the description. Welcome everybody who's walking with me this morning. I appreciate you being here. So let's go back to the question. Should I buy my primary residence before I buy rental properties? Well, I think the first thing to keep in mind here is let's define what your primary residence is. Is it an asset or a liability? And I see we've got five folks walking with me this morning on the Real Estate Walk and Talk. I appreciate all of you being here. We've got Lee Bishop, Donna Paul, Lex Levinrad, Brandon Martinfield. Appreciate you guys being here. So your primary residence is not an asset. You know, an asset, to keep it simplified, this is what I think. An asset is something that pays you every single month, right? Your primary residence is not an asset because you pay a lot of money for it. You got your mortgage payment, your taxes, your insurance, your ongoing maintenance, right? And you're not bringing rental income in. So that is a liability. So if you have an opportunity to purchase a primary residence, understand that you're taking on a liability here. And you may be able to use that money to be able to make an investment in an asset. So let's put this example out there, especially if you live in a high cost of living city. Investing, well, let's say putting that money towards a primary residence has a huge opportunity cost of what you could use that money to do to invest in another asset in another city. So let's say that you live in San Francisco and you have the opportunity to purchase your primary residence and it costs $1 million. And so to do that, you need to put down 20%, which is $200,000. And, you know, if you do that, you're actually increasing your monthly payment, right? What you were renting it out for would have been less on a monthly basis than what you would be paying in that mortgage payment, right? So let's say that you have the opportunity to do that, but you decide to do something different. That $200,000, instead of increasing your monthly payment each month, you take that $200,000 and you invest it in 4 rental properties in Jacksonville, Florida. All right, by doing that, you now earn about $200 a month for each one of those rental properties. So instead of money going out the door, now you're bringing money in the door times 4. So $200 a month times 4 is $800 a month, times 12 is $9,600 a year. So you're creating an asset. You're creating 4 assets there. All right, and let's take this out a little bit longer, especially for folks who are younger. This is so important because you're faced with this decision. Should I buy my primary? Should I not? Let's say you're 30 years old and you make the decision to turn this into 4 assets. Well, after 30 years, we're gonna go way far down the line here. Let's say after 30 years, what happens? Now you're 60, okay? These 4 assets, let's say you didn't do anything else in real estate. You just made this one really good decision. Well, 30 years down the line, your tenants would have completely paid off your mortgages for you. I ran the numbers before jumping on with you guys this morning. And if you look at home price appreciation, it's incredibly consistent over the long haul. And since 1991 in Jacksonville, homes have appreciated at a rate of 4.3%. So what you'd find is that those houses, each one of those, would be worth a little bit over $700,000. And they would have been completely paid off by your tenants for the last 30 years, which is incredible. And then rents would have gone up. Rents go up generally with inflation. So they'd go up, while right now they're renting for maybe $1,400 a month, they'd go up. And so they'd be renting for somewhere around $3,000 a month. and take out all the expenses, typical expense ratio is about 40%, you're still left netting about $1,800 a month in positive net income for each one of these assets. So at age 60, if you did nothing else to prepare for retirement, you just made this one good choice, you'd walk in with roughly $7,000 of net income each month, and you'd have roughly $2.8 million in equity from these 4 assets compared to a liability that you would have chosen to purchase if you stayed in San Francisco and you bought that primary residence there. Do you see the power of investing in assets, especially when you're young? So for you, for your friends, for your family, if they're thinking about jumping into a primary residence, don't tell them just to do what they think that everybody else should do. Like, stop, look at the numbers, especially if you're in a high cost of living situation. If you're in a San Francisco, right? If you're in California, if you're in New York, if you're in Virginia, some of these high cost of living places, lots and lots of our clients make the decision to purchase rental properties and get that started, especially if they're young, versus going ahead and just buying that primary residence and increasing their liabilities. I was thinking about this before, and I'm like, well, is this an example of what deferred gratification gives you? And I don't even think it's deferred gratification, because normally in deferred gratification, you have to give something up, right? All you're giving up by not taking on that primary residence is you're giving up additional costs every single month, right? You're paying less in rent than you would have for your mortgage payment. So it really is a no-brainer, in my opinion, especially if you're young, especially if you're in a high cost of living area, to look at this. Look about turning it into assets in a market like Jacksonville or a number of other markets. But the main thing here is turn it into assets, not liabilities. See, we've got Jack Bobeck walking with me. Jack's always commenting on my running or being on the beach. We've got Aaron Compton here. Appreciate you all being here. We got 5 folks walking with me this morning. If you're here, tell me where you're from. Tell me where you're from. I know we've got some local folks here. Jack's local, Aaron's local. I know Lee's in Baltimore. Put it in the comments. I appreciate you guys walking with me. I do this about, somewhere between 7:30 and 9 o'clock every morning, and appreciate. And we've got a few other folks here as well. Jade Skidmore is watching right now, so I appreciate you guys being here. Have a wonderful Monday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.